pay my respect to His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and also would like to greet all of you. So when Tenzin asked me to come and speak on His Holiness for commitment, I said, why can't we do it online? Why are you asking all the men to travel all the way? But then they insisted it might make some difference with your actual presence. I don't know whether that is true or not, but I got this wonderful opportunity to visit Shimla and meet all of you. Many of you I already know, so it's wonderful to know all of you. So according to this schedule, we don't really have much time, which is in a way good, because there are many talkers, not doers. So on all the 4 commitments, we have 15 minutes each. So, which is very difficult to do justice, but it is good. And I'll try my best to stop in time, because I don't have this habit of lingering more than the time committed. But I have quickly prepared a long kind of presentation here, which I'm not going to read. Those of you who are interested, you can get that PowerPoint and later on you can read it. His Holiness the Dalai Lama's 4 commitments. First is human value. Human value. His Holiness promoting basic human values is one of his main commitments out of the 4 commitments. And those of us who care about human culture, human civilization, we all talk about human culture, human civilization. If you really care about human culture, human civilization, then we are compelled to speak about human values. Therefore, His Holiness chose to speak and ask others to work hard to promote human values. And he is working more on promoting human values than his responsibility to his country or people. He is concerned not only about Tibet, but he is not only concerned about human beings, he is concerned about all sentient beings, for which human values is very important. I don't have to elaborate this. Compassion and other pro-social emotions constitute the core of these basic human values. Pro-social, any activity that you do that's beneficial to society is important, and regulation of human emotions is extremely important. Now, if you are to promote human values, how are you going to promote it? If you use one particular religion, it may not suit everybody. There are those who follow different religions, then there are those who do not follow any religion, and there are also people who are anti-religion. But the important thing is loving kindness and compassion is something that everybody needs. So therefore, the process of promoting human values should be based on secular ethics. And His Holiness got this idea primarily from the Indian Constitution. India incorporated the concept of secular ethics in its Constitution Amendment, 42nd Amendment Act 1976, based on universal family norms, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Many of, I'm sure you are clearly aware about all these things, but when we talk about promoting human values based on social ethics, we are not saying there is nothing to do with religion. Even from different religious traditions, we can take out the core messages so long as it is universal. But you can't talk about like emptiness or Buddhahood, which is not universal. Similarly, in other religious traditions, the concept of God and all this, which are not universal, we cannot talk. We can talk about loving kindness, we can talk about compassion, which I think is extremely important. Because when we are born without any religion. But when we are born dying for love, dying for compassion, dying for emotional regulation. And I've always been saying, if you look at the universal nature, the first thing after the birth of the child, the first thing that the child does is crying, not laughing, not smiling. First thing the child does is crying. By crying, the child is asking for something. The child is, I am sure, 100% sure, the child is not asking for a lengthy discourse of Buddhism. The child is asking for love and kindness of the mother and whoever is the caretaker. Very sure. But the problem is, as we grow up, we forget these fundamental qualities. We talk about the less secondary, less important things. Which country you belong to, which religion you follow. We forget the sameness that binds all of us together. So therefore, His Holiness is basically saying it is very risky to forget these universal values. Because when we get into a big problem, then the division on the basis of religion, basis on nationality will not work. I always give this example. For example, let us say 30 of us from different nationality, from different religion, we are traveling in a boat in the sea. And suddenly the sea becomes rough and turbulent, and we are all facing threat of our life. Then at that time, talking about religion, talking about whether you are man or woman, doesn't make any sense. At that time, the key question is how we can together survive. And if you manage to survive, you will become the best friend. We all have such kind of examples in our life. It's very, very important. And especially in today's global world, when we are thrown into the face of each other through the speed of science and technology, boundary makes no sense at all, right? So therefore, there is the kind of meaning of human value. If you look at this picture, there was bombardment, then the little girl was so frightened, and the little brother goes and hugs and tries to support this lady. It's very moving for me. Therefore, it's important to promote the secular ethics in society, and it is a matter of human survival. And that secular ethics that His Holiness is talking so much about is basically based on three pillars: common sense, common experience, scientific findings. Common experience means our shared experience as a human being. There is sameness of shared experience that binds us together. Then common experience, the experience of interdependency, is also something that we all have that knowledge. So therefore, this common experience, common sense, must be promoted further based on scientific findings, based on evidence, not in blind faith, not in mythology. Right? Sometimes, unfortunately, human beings have a tendency जो हम लोग बोलते हैं आंखों देखा हल में भी विश्वास नहीं करता है कि भगवान ने किया हो उसने किया हो. Things that you have no idea, and you are very fond of talking about those things about which you have no idea. So His Holiness is basically saying, okay, Bhagwan may be there, God may be there, Buddha may be there. Okay, we are not saying, we are not denying that. पर पहले तो आप वो करो जो आपकी आंखों के सामने है. आंख मूंद कर मत बैठो. Helping each other, living together. It's good for everybody. Making stupid differentiation on this and that doesn't serve anybody. It will only destroy the society. Okay, will you keep the time? Please keep the time. Stop. Okay, now to give you an example, the secular ethics and religion. Religion is like tea. Secular ethics is like water. Or religion is like coffee. There may be a number of people who like coffee, who like tea, but it is not a must for everybody. चाय के बिना भी हम जी सकते हैं, कॉफी के बिना भी हम जी सकते हैं, कोका कोला के बिना भी तो बिल्कुल जी सकते हैं, ठीक है ना? But हवा पानी के बिना हम जी नहीं सकते. So these universal human values are हवा पानी, ठीक है ना? So that is the best way to explain it. Okay. Now, when we talk about all these four commitments, His Holiness's primary concern is how to get peace and happiness to everybody. So in this connection, to simplify it, I normally ask people, do you want happiness? Here, when I ask, do you want happiness? Everybody says, I want happiness. Then I ask a further question by saying, how long you want happiness? You want happiness for 1 week? Or 3 weeks? Then people normally laugh and smile. So by that they are saying, Geshe Lhakdor, when it comes to happiness, it is not for 1 week or 2 weeks, it is for as long as possible. That is there with all of us. If we sit down and ask question, then we will find out that we want happiness as long as possible. But unfortunately, this is not how we live our daily life. In our daily life, we are living as if we don't want long-lasting happiness. Kuch din ke liye khushi chahiye. So therefore, we run after pleasure. We run after pleasure, we don't run after happiness, especially we don't run after long-lasting happiness. Isliye, because of this, despite our running so much, today everybody says I'm busy, everybody is running, right? Running for what? They may say happiness, but actually we are all running for temporary short-term pleasures. Because of that, despite running and running, we are not able to get that happiness. Because happiness has to come not through the senses, but it has to come from mental training, mind training, understanding your emotions, developing loving kindness, compassion, empathy, and so forth. We will have the journeys. Kabhi nahi bolega. This is really amazing. If you look at the more and more I reflect about it, the more and more I develop so much respect to nature. Nature is an equalizer, doesn't make any differentiation. Sunshine, air, whatever, it doesn't, cloud also doesn't make any differentiation. It is us, the so-called intelligent human beings, who make these unnecessary differentiations. Right? One thing that we need to understand is, if you look at human body, it is basically more compassionate, more non-violent, not violent. For example, the two eyes are a little bit slender, a little bit similar to deer, which is more compassionate, not so much round like snake. Clear? And then also look at the teeth. It's not good for killing animals. The nails also not good for killing animals. So basically, if you look, and then the hand long hand, long arms with the nice fingers. They are good for hugging, good for shaking hands, not for hitting. If it is for hitting, then right from the beginning we should get only fist, no fingers at all. Then why there is so much problem created by human beings? Because this great human intelligence, which is a nuclear energy, very powerful human intelligence, is used in the wrong direction. That's why we need to train our mind for ushering peace, for ushering harmony, brotherhood, sisterhood, sense of universal responsibility. The destructive, very powerful destructive nuclear bombs, ballistic missiles and so forth, these are all creation of human mind. Now today, if you look at the present situation that is happening right now people everywhere, not only in that part, but all over the world, people are now really very scared. Within the next 2-3 days, there may be a nuclear war, These are human creations. Of course, this is not something that some of us can stop it today. But we need to make an effort and do our bit. So therefore, it becomes the responsibility of all of us to bring peace, harmony, and produce this ripple effect to the rest of the world, especially in India. And also as parents and elders, we need to think and question, what is it that we are going to leave for the future generation? Okay, बच्चों के लिए अब क्या छोड़ के जाएंगे? What are you going to live? Concrete buildings only and some money, maybe few lakhs. Are you going to live that only? Or will you guide your young ones, will you guide your children so that they are able to live happily, peacefully, harmoniously? What are you going to live? If you look at the modern trend, it's really awful. We are all running towards materialistic success and achievement. I should mention here some of the most brilliant students in the Harvard University. So they are all academically doing very well. And some of the scientists and researchers, they were observing these students while they are studying. And then after finishing the university, they also followed them, what kind of job they got and how successful they are. They did this research and experiment for many, many years. Many, many years. Then they found that those who did amazingly in their academic course, but after finishing their course, when they actually went to get the job, they got good job, but then there are those who got good job, but still continue to look after their family, their society, maintain love, affection, connection. Then there are others who just, as when they got this great job, the lure of money is there. They said, oh, I want more money, I want more money. They forget their wife, forget their husband, forget their relationship, things like that. Then gradually they found that these people who aspire only for money gradually sank into loneliness, depression. That is scientifically tested finding. So therefore, ethics is very important. So I only give for the hint, so I will stop, just say one word. If we look at our actual reality, after birth, we are completely dependent on other people's kindness when we are young. Then gradually when you become older, again you are completely dependent on other people's kindness, not so much on money and things like that. Then how can we forget that compassion, their love, that affection in between when we are a little bit, energetic and able to do something? If we forget that, we are doing it at our own peril. Okay? So as I said, I'll quickly run. There are a lot of things written here. One thing that I must mention is the secular ethics curriculum that is produced from Emory University is very, very systematic. So anybody who wants to do it can in touch with the Dawang group. Very systematic. Of course, ethics and good behavior can be taught in many ways, but this is something many leading, teachers on ethics, scientists and others have involved it. And now it is today taught in over 25 countries. The whole text has been translated to different languages, and over 1,000 resource persons are working on it. So in India also we have a strong component. So if you visit Emory website, there is opportunity to download many of these curriculums. And then also you can join one of the trainings. Okay? Look at this religious harmony. Whether you want it or not, there are many different religious traditions today. And it is also the case that unfortunate things may have happened. Religious wars might have fought and brought many unfortunate consequences. But still today, millions of people follow different religions. And millions of people get inspiration from these different religious traditions. So therefore, we must respect these different religious traditions. The important point is, let people follow whatever religion they want to follow. And it is wrong to judge other religions. Just as it is wrong for me to judge you who you are, similarly it is wrong to judge other religions. If you think a particular religion is suitable to you, follow it, of course. So therefore, it is wrong to say my religion is best. It is wrong to think my religion is the best. If you say my religion is the best, it is really stupid. It is like picking up one medicine from the medical store and say this medicine is the best. How can you say that? You cannot say that particular medicine is best because it is costly. It may be costly, but it's of no use for somebody who doesn't need that medicine, who has different illness. So for you, that medicine is best, which has the capacity to cure your illness. That medicine is for you best. You cannot in general say this particular medicine is best. So similarly, in general, you cannot say this religion is best. Like for example, for me, I can say Buddhism is best, for me. But in general, I can't say Buddhism is best. How can I say that? Because I have not studied other religions. It is best for you because it's suitable to you, because of your tradition, your culture and so forth, your exposure and so forth. It served you well, so you think it is best for you. And in fact, His Holiness the Dalai Lama is saying that these different religious traditions are like a departmental store, a mall. If there is a mall which only sells shoes, not many people will go there. Because people need not only shoes, they need food to eat, they need clothes, different things. But if it is a mall which has so many things, which indeed is true, if you visit mall, you can get almost everything that you want to get. So similarly, this different religious traditions are like a mall where you can get what you want to get. Because people, it's amazing to see the diversity, differences of human interest, human disposition. You have observed that, I have observed that. Each of us, among the 7 billion human beings, each of us are unique. I jokingly tell people that you are the, each of us individually, you are the only original copy in this whole world universe. So there's no reason to discourage yourself. That you are the only original copy means that you have special, unique capacity. So like that, we have different dispositions, different interests, different needs. So therefore, for some, believing in God is good. For some, believing in karma is good. So that's fine. Just like some one want water, one want tea, one want coffee. If we fight, because I like tea, if I ask everybody to drink tea, otherwise we are a bad person. Stupid. If we adopt such a stance, then family members cannot sit comfortably during the dinner table. Because the father might like bread, the wife might like rice, the children might like ice cream. But if the father insists, saying that because I like bread, all of you should eat bread, then there will be disharmony and fight. So this kind of fight over different religious traditions or even other different differences is actually very short-sighted. So this multiplicity, diversity makes life colorful. People can choose. So we must respect each other's religious traditions. So therefore, the point is, in terms of one individual, one religion which you like is good. But in terms of many people, in terms of the society, religious pluralism is good. And the best way is to respect other religions and also try to understand some of the important messages in each of the religious traditions. Sometimes what we find is the religion as a whole may be amazing and wonderful, but the person may not be following their teaching properly. Akirka, all these difficult things that's created in the world are not the religion itself, but it's the human beings who may politicize it, who may use it for one's personal benefit. All these problems are there in the society. So therefore, it is important to respect different religious traditions. I intentionally put these two pictures because once I saw this picture, it reminded my own life story. Because after coming from Tibet, we came through Nepal. Then we came, and there were at least 3-4 Tibetan camps in Narkanda. So I was there. I was a small boy, and my parents used to do the road construction. So exactly like this, small kids lying here. My parents used to keep me like this by the roadside, the dusty roadside, when they were like constructing the road. So this reminded me. So why I'm putting this picture here? I put this picture here because when Tibet was free, we had such, as you all know now, such rich religious cultural heritage. Tibetans, small population, around 6 million. Huge land, bigger than the whole Western Europe. So we are comfortably living in harmony with nature. Random huntings are restricted, exploitation of natural resources are restricted, and so forth. And waters are, pure. In Tibet, when we were in Tibet, water means drinkable. Not like today, is this drinkable? No. Now we are unfortunately in such a situation that if you, even in developed countries like America, sometimes even in 5-star hotels, I once asked this question, can I drink from the tap? Then the guy there who said, maybe he's not so sure whether the water is clean or not. And then now, as you can all see, we are drinking from bottled water, and nobody is paying any attention. We take for granted drink from the bottled water because somebody said, and if you don't drink from the bottled water, water is polluted, you are going to die. This is a very serious matter. Now, if we don't work hard by developing human values and things like that, try to maintain pure environment and things like that, we are going to get bottled oxygen very soon. It has already happened in some places. Then how are we going to do? Water, air, these are nature's gifts, should be freely available. We call ourselves intelligent human beings. Where is our intelligence? We are not able to even provide the basic survival facilities that the nature has given. We have polluted nature so much that we are not able to get pure water, pure air to breathe. So that's why His Holiness is working so hard to develop all these religious values, human values, and so forth. So my point is, in Tibet it was like that. Natural resources are intact because we used to believe there is not only human beings, but there are also other spirits, other sentient beings who are owner of this natural resources, who are owner of this lake. So don't pollute the lake. Don't cut tree in random. We used to say things like that, right? Like that. Now after coming into exile, this is how we started our life as a refugee. But again, because of this amazing, compassionate Tibetan culture, Tibetan religion, we are gradually able to shine out. We are able to take care of ourselves. And Tibetans, many people, they say Tibetan refugees are the most successful refugee in the world. I'm not praising Tibetan, I'm praising Tibetan culture, the basic human values. Because of these basic human values, good human values, we got such a great leader like His Holiness and many other teachers. And because of this, when you have the inner values, core human values, compassion, love, people will come to you, people will help you. You'll get as many friends as you want. But if you run only after money, doesn't care about anything, it will not take much time that you will start experiencing loneliness, depression, which is almost like a symptom in the so-called modern world today everywhere, in the developed countries. So therefore it is important to, but this is what they want. Actually this is something that I should be speaking after the tea. So it's okay. So maybe we stop for tea? Okay.
Later.
Хорошо. 자, 니마도 취소 좀 하자.
취소해서 좀 왔어. 빼야지.
니 좀 올랐어.
Subscribe.
건.
Good night.
거네.
Like, share, subscribe.
와우.
If you look at these four commitments, it's very interesting how His Holiness developed this idea. First commitment was on preserving human values. So by that, His Holiness is saying, as a human being, you have a responsibility for whole humanity. That is preserving human values. Second, he is a religious person. As a religious person, we need to develop religious harmony. And then third, he is a Tibetan. So therefore, he also has a responsibility to do something for the Tibet. With regard to Tibet, he said the most important thing is preserving Tibetan culture, including Tibetan religious traditions and so forth, which is today highly appreciated in many parts of the world. But unfortunately, which is very much looked down and intentionally destroyed in Tibet. Our whole environment, we are all going to die. Now if you go to big cities like Delhi, other places, you have problem breathing. The air is polluted, water is polluted. And this is the same story in many big countries in the world, which is very, very unfortunate. So that's why now people are saying that it's not enough just to get some information, we must get knowledge. Knowledge is also not enough, we must have wisdom. Wisdom is how you should, use technology. If you have proper wisdom, you will use technology for productive purposes, for beneficial purposes. If you don't have the wisdom, then you use it for killing other people. I wanted to give you this example. For example, when we experienced this pandemic and confronted this invisible virus, in a way, we are all helpless. Even the biggest, most powerful countries like America or Russia or China are all helpless, couldn't do much. Even the basic health infrastructures were not present. This shows human priority, human stupidity. Now when it comes to killing, look at those ballistic missiles, so many things they've stored over so many years. Now these days you can clearly see on both the sides the stockpiling of arms, and which is now used to kill each other. So now, unfortunately, many of these misguided, unfortunate leaders, they have stockpiled so much, such destructive weapons, that some people say, now they have very destructive weapons like nuclear weapons, which can kill the whole humanity 6-7 times over. 6-7 बार मरने की कोई जरूरत है? So as to be as that, right? So therefore, as a human being, it's very, very important to take care of the environment. Taking the example of Tibet, for example, in the case of Tibet, if something unfortunate happens in the Tibetan environment, we can see flood here in Himachal Pradesh and so forth, which is clear to everybody. So consequences will not be only in a particular region, but all the neighboring countries will also suffer. So therefore His Holiness clearly said that as far out of this four commitment, as far as the three commitments, the religious harmony, especially about Tibet, these things, especially about Tibet, gradually there will be other young people, who will take responsibility, and then I will not be actively involved in that. Even if I will involved, I will involve in protection of environment, cultural values and things like that. But as far as preserving human values is concerned, he said, I will work until my head falls on the ground. For whole humanity, this is his sense of responsibility. Right? So this preserving environment is also one of the important things that we need to take care of everywhere we go. Right? It means the planet. Anyone who thinks that you can have infinite growth in a finite environment is either a madman or an economist. This is true. And he's always said about this many times. Every country expects their national GDP grow every year. And he's always said this is simply impossible. The growth of the GDP comes from external natural resources. External natural resources are by definition physical, material resources. Anything that is physical, material, by definition has a limitation. So how are you going to make unlimited progress from limited resources? If you try to do that, you will only end up destroying the environment, polluting the water and so forth, which we have already witnessed. So this, at least for me, is very alarming. More alarming than the pandemic. With the pandemic, we at least, today with science and technology, we at least came out with many vaccines and things like that. We are able to manage it. Now imagine if suddenly there is really, really big shortage of water. Say, Shimla, what will you do? For me, it's very dangerous. So we need to be really very, very careful in preserving the environment in general and also in terms of using water. हम लोग ऐसे करते हैं ना अपने घर में नल का जो चलाते हैं हम लोग ऐसे करते हैं कि कभी खत्म ना होने वाला पानी इसमें आ रहा है एक कप धोने के लिए भी हम with full speed we release water कितना है how much waste we are doing. So all of this is just a small example I am trying to give. So all of us can contribute towards preserving the health of the environment so that we don't have to suffer unnecessarily. I am using this word to stop suffering unnecessarily. Because we are in many ways suffering unnecessarily. Suffering unnecessarily means because of our own ignorance, because of our own misbehavior. Many of these problems that we are facing today is man-made problems. And His Holiness the Dalai Lama said that man-made problems are essentially unnecessary problems, which we can avoid, which we can stop. There may be natural calamities which may be difficult, like for example earthquake. You can't stop it quickly. Of course, in one way, it's also related to human behavior, but it's something that we can't stop totally. But there are many, bad behaviors that we are executing in our daily life, which we can stop. And such good habits we can instill in the mind of the young people. Then one point that also I wanted to mention here is like health. Now they say in the next 20 years or so, half of the world's population, especially young people, will suffer from myopia because they are spending so much time looking at this small screen of your mobile phone. मैं एक बार उधर गया मेरे घर में गया तो 4-5 बच्चा नीचे लेट करके वो देख रहा था छोटा स्क्रीन मोबाइल फोन एक रख करके फिर बोला करता है फिर रोने से क्या होगा एक बार रोने से क्या होगा Are you planning to make all your kids blind? So I really wanted to make this comment so that we're able to bring about drastic changes. Now during the pandemic, all the online courses are on this small screen. So we need to find a way to reduce many of these problems. Okay? So that's one thing that I wanted to mention. Sign up a great person. I'm very busy. You need to make an appointment with me. I have no time. But I say, it is not important to be busy. What's important is what are you busy about? वेस्ट होना कुछ बड़ा काम नहीं है, किस चीज में तुम व्यस्त हो? So most of the time we are busy with small, meaningless things. So in life it is important to think carefully, to relax, to plan, to enjoy what you are doing. That's why we talk about concentration, mindfulness, meditation. Relax, enjoy your life. Life is not 90 years or 20 years like that. Life is combination of many events, including this time right now. If you are enjoying right now, it means you are making your life meaningful. If you are not enjoying, you are wasting your life. And then also, I'm not giving a Buddhist teaching, okay? But I want to take this example. It's very important. Life is very short. हम लोग बोलते हैं ना कल किसने देखा? Seriously speaking, the other day I was thinking, all this bombing and shelling and killing, क्या कर रहा है? तो मैंने सोचा कि ये पूरा धरती में जितना भी आदमी है अभी 7 billion or something, including president, prime minister, educationists, whoever, actor, actresses, all this whole human population of 7 billion or so will be all dead after 100 years. एक भी नहीं रहेगा आज से गिन करके 100 के बाद 100 साल के बाद ये हमारी स्थिति है. Now in our case, in this gathering, even if I give you big discount, big discount means on an average our age may be, let us say, after big discount, maybe 20, okay? So that means you live another 80 years. After that, 100% sure we are all gone. Why I am saying this? I am saying this because आपका जो जीवन इतना सीमित है, possibility is 80 years, but there is no guarantee it may be tomorrow. है ना? अब अपने दिल पर हाथ रख के बोलो कि अगर मेरा मृत्यु कल आ रहा है, तो अब क्या करोगे? डरोगे? Will you engage in corruption? As simple as that. We don't know because we don't study, we don't reflect. These are powerful teachings, really. Powerful ideas. But then the question is not how long you live, the question is how you live. एक दिन जीने से भी make it constructive, beneficial, enjoy your life. Then if you live long way, it's good. If you don't live long, also it's good. So such thinkings are important because we don't think about these realities. That's why I was talking repeatedly about law of nature. If you think about these realities, then it will come to your senses. What is best for me to do? How should I live my life meaningfully? That's important. So these are the things that His Holiness wants to promote and preserve so that human beings are able to maintain their sanity. The last commitment is, the fourth and the last commitment is revival of ancient Indian tradition. Revival of ancient Indian tradition. His Holiness has always said, Arya Bhumi. He calls India Arya Bhumi, the land of superior beings. Of course, the concept Arya came from Aryans because of their big body, but it has another meaning. Spiritually also, superior land. So, when we call this land a superior land is not in terms of mineral resources, other things. India's excellence, superiority is primarily in terms of soft power. In all my talks, I've been sharing this to my Indian friends, that yes, we are surrounded by troubling neighbors, so you have to defend yourself. All these things has to be there. But still, the most important thing for India is to show it is excellence is preserving and showing it is soft power, the power of culture, the power of spirituality. There cannot be probably, there are not many countries like India, which is such profound, vast cultural heritage. Unfortunately, with the lure of materialism, especially with the young people, when they're exposed to all these shiny gadgets and so forth, their mind, body, everything is outside. And they are not taking much interest. Neither the elder generation is taking much interest to inculcate this values to the younger generation, nor the young generation, of course, shows interest in it. So therefore, we must come up with systematic planning to recognize, to revive, to make once again alive the ancient Indian cultural tradition. Now, ancient Indian cultural tradition means the tradition which talks about well-being of all sentient beings, which talks about well-being of all humanity, right? And that rich cultural tradition is not so much about ritual, not so much about fire puja and things. He's not talking about this. His Holiness is primarily talking about the science of mind. It's a rich philosophy of how to regulate your emotion. Conflicts, sufferings, problems, killings, and many unwanted things that is happening in today's world is because of having not regulated your emotion, because of your having let the emotions run wild. So unless you know how to tackle these emotions, differentiate between the positive emotions and negative emotions, develop further strength in the positive emotions like compassion, forgiveness, patience, and so forth, and weaken the negative emotions like anger, jealousy, and so forth. For your own health, physical health, mental health, for the health of the society, for the health of the nation, for the health of the whole world. This is a necessity, not a luxury. This is something we must have. It's extremely important. So let me give you one example. For example, anger is a negative emotion. So in Buddhism, and also according to secular ethics, it's not very good. Now you need to see whether it's good or bad. You need to see. Don't just listen to people. Think whether it's good or bad. Okay? Now, for example, anger. Right in the morning, do we make a plan saying that today I will get angry? सवेरे से हम लोग ऐसे तय करके ना आज मैं गुस्सा हो जाऊंगा ऐसा बोल के दफ्तर में थोड़ी चलता है नहीं चलता है ना but because of the situation, because of the workload, because of meeting different people, on the spot you get angry. And sometimes you even physically might fight. But having done all that, in the evening when you return home and look back and found that you fought with somebody violently and you got angry, is there anybody who at the end of the day say that today I was angry, fought with somebody, therefore I really enjoyed the day? ऐसा कोई भी नहीं है ना आज मैंने किसी से लड़ा झगड़ा तो बहुत मजा आ गया कल फिर लड़ूंगी ऐसा कोई नहीं है ना ऐसा नहीं है ना नहीं है ना So what I'm saying is in this way you should think how this negative emotions really will help. Anger होने से blood pressure बढ़ जाता है, hypertension भी होता है, scientifically proved now. Jealousy होने से भी होता है, hatred होने से भी, very bad for your physical health, mental health. So for our own physical health, mental health, we need this ancient Indian tradition, especially the one dealing with the emotions, regulating the emotions. Emotion को काबू में अपने आप को काबू में नहीं रखने से फिर खो जाओगे, बर्बाद हो जाओगे. Just simple as that. Take examples, not just read book. You see some people fighting all the time. इसमें फिर बाद में क्या होता है? उनके साथ क्या होता है? देखो. You see, family members fighting each other all the time. See क्या होता है बाद में? और क्या होता है कि क्या होता है? ठीक है ना? So take some of these examples and do it. And then, the art of reasoning, logic. Art of reasoning, logic basically, this is another thing that we should take back from ancient Indian tradition. That means, the one thing that makes human beings special among all other animals is capacity to judge and analyze. इतना बड़ा सिर दिया हम लोगों को. Human beings have the biggest head and biggest brain. If you compare to other animals, I'm saying this in terms relative to their body size. वैसे तो कोई दूसरा और animals है जिसका सिर बहुत बड़ा है, their body is also big. So relative to the body size, human beings have the biggest head, biggest brain. So we have this biggest brain, biggest head to think, to analyze, to reason. And it is because of this capacity to reason, to analyze, human beings are controlling everything. But unfortunately, as I already mentioned, that we are controlling everybody through negative acts, through using physical force. अब यहाँ आप देख लीजिए, here you should see, when you use physical force, whether machine gun or whatever, you are actually living the life of an animal. Tiger and lion and all these animals, when they are together, they can't have a dialogue. So I बेटा हम लोग उसका बर्ताव करेंगे, थोड़ी बोल सकते हैं, नहीं बोल सकते ना, तो फिर क्या करना, तुरंत झपटना, jump over each other, and then show your physical force. Human beings are doing like that. So we are not really using the special human capacity, but using and emulating the animals. And many things to say regarding this, but we have no time, don't want to waste your time also. So to make a long story short, what I'm saying is, whatever work you're doing, think calmly, peacefully, find a solution. तुरंत मत घबराओ, don't develop fear, उससे कुछ नहीं होता है. इतना you should have this conviction, I can solve this problem, I am a human being, I have this wonderful brain. ठीक है ना? Then you will find that samadhi. You will find that solution. So that's what His Holiness is saying. His Holiness is saying this, that in order to solve these multifarious problems, you need to understand the different levels of the mind, how your mind is functioning. It's very important. At the end of the day, your mind is your boss, not your husband. हम लोग बोलते हैं ना husband को दिए ये मेरा boss नहीं है वो. Your boss is your mind. The mind being your boss is not the problem. But the mind which is your boss, if it is stupid, it is short-sighted, you are in big problem. The mind which is your boss, if it is a mind with wisdom, with love, with compassion, then it's fine. Just like having a president, prime minister who is kind, compassionate, forward-looking, then you have no problem. But if the country is ruled by a president, prime minister who is selfish, egoistic, without kind, without compassion, then you have a big problem. So similarly, you should check. Number one, accept the fact that you are controlled not by your body, you are controlled by your mind. Because it is your mind which is dictating all the time. क्या करना चाहिए, क्या नहीं करना चाहिए, कहाँ जाना चाहिए, कहाँ नहीं जाना चाहिए. बार बार mind बोल रहा है, body थोड़ी बोल रहा है. Body तो बेचारा उसका आज्ञा मानेंगे, कुछ नहीं कर सकता. So the mind which is controlling your life must be one with farsightedness, must be one which is compassionate. There, in order to do that, you need to study, have a clear idea of the name of the mind. All different types of the mind, understand them, and then distance yourself from the destructive, negative mind, and make friendship with the positive mind. So that's the way to bring harmony, peace, and tranquility in your own mind, in your family, in the society, relation, and so forth. So this is primarily what His Holiness is saying. Okay, are done? Okay.
जैसे कि इस टॉपिक से रिलेटेड और उसके बाहर भी लोगों ने बात की, वैसे ही मेरी बात की. हम लोग बुद्धिज़्म को एडॉप्ट करना चाहते हैं और बुद्धिज़्म में जाना चाहते हैं, क्योंकि महात्मा बुद्ध साइंटिफिक टेम्परामेंट में चलने वाले लोग थे. और साथ ही साथ आपसे ये जानना चाहते हैं बुद्धिज़्म में जाने से पहले कि हम बुद्धिज़्म एक साइंटिफिक टेम्परामेंट में रहने वाला एक धर्म है, क्योंकि महात्मा बुद्ध साइंटिफिक टेम्परामेंट को मानते थे. उसके साथ साथ ये जानना चाहते हैं, जैसे इस देश की हम बात करें, मैक्सिमम लोग जो है हिंदू हैं. एक हिंदुज़्म में बुद्धिज़्म में कहीं ना कहीं कभी हमें लगता है कि इसमें थोड़ा सा डाइल्यूट हो गया है, या इसमें कुछ कर्मकांड कभी कभार हमें लगता है कि आ गया है. और साथ ही साथ ये जानना चाहते हैं कि हम ये जो भारतवर्ष है, एक हिंदुइज्म होने के बावजूद इस देश में बुद्धिज़्म को लाने के लिए किस ने ज़्यादा काम किया। महात्मा बुद्ध तो थे ही, जो हमारे कुछ नए लोग हैं, रेवोल्यूशनरी लोग हैं, उनमें से कौन थे जिसकी बदौलत जो है बुद्धिज्म जो है भारत देश में काफ़ी बढ़ा। धन्यवाद।
कि हर व्यक्ति को कोई भी धर्म अपनाना चाहते हैं वो अपना सकते हैं, और इतिहास के मतलब के मुताबिक उतर चढ़ाव होता है हर चीज में, वो हम लोग अभी इसको सॉल्व नहीं कर सकता। लेकिन अब व्यक्तिगत तौर पर आपको बुद्धिज्म में इंटरेस्ट है, or anybody who is interested in Buddhism, then your responsibility is to study the authentic teaching of the Buddha. ठीक है ना? That's your responsibility to find Buddhism as scientific or whatever. You have to find that through your own personal study, reflection. There are things that we can learn from Hinduism. There are things we can learn from other religious traditions. And especially in Buddhism, many people say Buddhism is, born and brought up in the atmosphere of the Hindu teaching. There's a very strong influence. And there are many similarities also, including the devas and devis that we used these days. They all have a lot of connections. So that is okay. But there are certain things which is very unique in Buddhism, like Pratit Samudapad और बुद्धिचित। समसत सदों के लिए बुद्धिचित उत्पन्न करना एक बुद्धिज्म का अनोखा प्रयास है। उसी तरह प्रतित समुत्पाद is a very unique feature. So understand these unique features, right? So that's important. Okay? Just like the goldsmith judges the gold by cutting, rubbing, and putting under the fire. Similarly, well examine my teachings and follow them, not because you respect me. And similarly, elsewhere he said, I have shown you the path to Nirvana. Nirvana is up to you. I'm just a teacher, I'm showing you the path. Then you see whether it's good for you or not. If it's good for you, follow it, practice it. Very simple. Okay. America group आया था, मैंने उनको talk दिया, बाद में भी और दौड़ गया, किसी ने क्या नहीं ask you one question, are you really happy? मैंने उनको बोला क्यों नहीं happy? Why not? Why you are so happy? I said सोने के लिए पलंग है, खाने के लिए खाना है, दुश्मन मेरे दरवाजे में नहीं है अभी, हाँ? So why should I not be happy? ठीक है? So therefore, the greatest treasure is within yourself, not in other people. उसको खोजो थोड़ा बाहर निकलो, compassion, loving kindness, satisfaction, contentment, altruism, bodhicitta, all these things, really. And then think about the preciousness of human life. Don't just waste it running in all directions, things like that. Then your life will be filled with happiness. And then especially as human beings, we have such huge capacity to help so many people. Try to do this a little bit at least. Problem with us is we are not happy because we don't appreciate what we have. Always thinking about what you don't have. You remember this story of Shakespeare? It is said that he was without shoes and he was very sad that he was feeling melancholy, thinking, I have no shoes. Then after walking a few steps, he saw another person without leg. खुश हो गया वो, अरे क्या कर रहा है, मैं दुखी था क्योंकि मेरे पास पाँव नहीं था, अब देखो इसके पास, सॉरी मेरे पास जूता नहीं था, अब देखो इस आदमी की जूता की बात छोड़ो, पाँव ही नहीं, फिर भी खुश है. That's what I'm saying. It's your mental attitude. I'm not just saying like that. It's how you think. How you think. एक बार मैं 5 minutes more, huh? Because such people are listening so attentively. Once I was giving a public talk in Moscow. I was saying something like this, that you should appreciate what you have. Don't always think about what you don't have. Then there was an elderly Russian lady sitting in front. She said, your talk is very good. but I'm old Russian lady. Nobody living with me, nobody supporting me. So what is there with me? Yes, I'm very sorry if you are in that situation, but I see you have both eyes intact. I see you have both the legs intact. I see you have both the hands intact. How many people are there who are without eyes? How many people are there who are without hand? How many people are there who are without legs? So when you compare like that, then you thank God, you know. दोनों आँख काम कर रहे हैं, दोनों हाथ काम कर रहे हैं, दोनों पैर हम लोग सोचते नहीं हैं हम लोग. So you can really, through properly thinking, analyzing the situation, you can make your life very happy, very happy. Smile a little bit, smile more. आजकल तो दीदी वगैरह जो नकली स्माइल हा 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 लपिंग थेरेपी बोलते हैं ना, नकली लपिंग करने से भी फायदा होता है बोलते हैं. If you really laugh, the belly laugh, you'll get so much benefit. Thank you.
आपको बहुत बहुत आभार देश का. साथ ही वचन करता हूँ काफी आभार.